Hi, Alex.
Hey, Kush. Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
I think we have a number of your PRs on the docket here to look at. We'll get started in, 3 or 4 minutes here.
I always plan to join the meeting, but the timing doesn't match. It's like 1:30 a.m. in the morning in India, so bit difficult. But I tried this time.
Oh yeah, no, and we every other week we have a one that's 6 hours earlier than this, to try and accommodate that. But yet
Yeah,
no hard feelings, obviously, if you have to sign off. Yeah, I know it's obscenely late in yeah, in IST right now. So I'll go ahead and put the meeting agenda in the chat in case anyone wants to read along. We'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes. All right, we'll get started. Welcome everybody. Meeting number 86 in the OpenCost Community Meeting Series on our North American time. Uh, we'll get right into it with community notes. Uh, we are working on bots that post meeting reminders to the OpenCost channel in CNCF Slack. I just added one that posted 15 minutes before this meeting. Um, I think it's well received. I don't know if anyone's here pounding the table saying that it's annoying, then we can get rid of it. But I think it's useful and it sends people the agenda and helps folks know what we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to really implement any more of these for each meeting. I'll build one more bot that warns 15 minutes before our, alternate time, EMEA APAC. Um, but then, between this, we warn or alert one day before and 15 minutes before. I think, if anyone was going to come, that would be plenty sufficient for them. Another note, just, we revisit this periodically. I don't know if anyone was interested in looking into this, but one of our sort of serial contributors, Tushar, has implemented a welcome bot, which I think is nice. A lot of the other projects have these where it basically DMs. I don't know if he has like a video walkthrough, but it basically DMs new members when they join the OpenCost channel with like links to how to contribute. I think this was targeted at, we do have folks that join the channel and ask, I want to help. What's a good first issue? And maybe this would let them self-serve. Um, yeah, it just needs review. Like, I think the idea is good. I just haven't gotten to it. So if anyone wants to look at it, it is public. Definitely interested in feedback there. We also need to figure out, can we install apps on CNCF Slack? The other sort of community-oriented thing, I guess, is the Sneak Developer Program. We have applied and have been accepted into the Sneak Developer Program. We're still working on getting the integration set up. You'll see Sneak on the PRs. That's like linked to a trial account that is linked to my personal GitHub. I don't know how we link this to our enterprise, complimentary enterprise subscription. Um, So, work, I know you had been poking around that.
I'm getting feeds, but I have the same problem in that it's coming into my personal setup.
All
And I
right.
don't know how to flick it over. I will come back to you all in the next meeting with a solution to that,
Um,
both because I want to fix it and because I want to stop it getting spammed.
yeah. Um, uh, there was an email work in the like developer portal that I think we could email them and be like, what are we doing wrong here?
Yeah, the documentation's a little bit sparse. As you saw when we went to the portal, it was kind of like um, it looked like we hadn't been given full permissions as like a partner group or something, because it was very,
Gotcha.
very, very much like, this is how you onboard. That's it. Like, okay,
Okay.
go from there.
Once we get that rolling, we can, they've Sneak asks us in return. We just say like secured by Sneak or whatever on the README. We'll go ahead and merge that PR, but we want it to be like working and make sure it's legit first. Um, any other community notes or thoughts before we move on to technical stuff? Cool. OpenCost Infra, Christian, I don't know if you have anything to add here. If you don't, feel free to stay on mute, but we're just working on getting external costs deployed to our cluster. The demo remains up. I think we're continually deploying head of develop to it, so we can get feedback there. I took the action
Yep.
item to like get OpenAI costs working.
Yep.
There's nothing blocking me, it's a time issue.
Yep.
Cool. Um, OpenCost integration tests. So Manos was trying to join us, but I think it's just too late over there. No worries. We have a bunch of tests in progress here, right? We have a pod restart test, just a simple one to like make sure OpenCost doesn't like crash loop on install. Um, we have, and this link has been dead for months, I know, but we have continual issues with comparison tests, right? Let's look at one that actually ran. Um, wow, so actually our integration tests are passing. I think they fail on the main branch though, which is weird for some reason. But again, we have, you know, differences between a Prometheus list and a Prometheus back deployment. I would say this is one of our most concerning, outstanding problems. These tests have been failing fairly consistently. Um, work. I know you had punched the ticket into this one. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about here?
No, not currently, mate. Other than to apologize because just,
Oh,
meant to
good.
be done, but you know how it is.
Oh, yeah. Um, see, we merge a PR that try to stabilize some of these tests, which seems to have worked. Like our regular integration tests are passing more frequently now, and tests autocomplete, which is a new feature. So just a link to that there. Work is working with some folks on the IBM side to implement a whole slew of tests, and it looks like a lot of these are paired with PRs. Um, Work like are you seeking community reviewers here? Is this something you want to own reviewing? Like, I mean, these tests seem good.
I
Um,
think they're actually pretty much good to go for review at this point. I had a look at them yesterday to see where they're at, and I think I'm gonna be honest. I think they're ready to pull in. I still rather
Great.
pull them in than break the world.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean the beauty of it is like as long as they pass and they themselves are run, so that this shouldn't break the world. Um, so all right, we'll try to find time to review that. But yeah, I think these folks are hitting pretty hard issues, so it's awesome. So thanks. Yeah, I'll push that on my to-do list if anyone else from the community wants to review PRs. Certainly, I think a lot of the folks on the call here we trust, your review, and that does help us accelerate our review if we know that a second set of eyes have been on them. That's it for testing. A lot of movement there, frankly. BinGen, not a ton of movement here. We've just been, I think, merging incremental fixes since the streaming BinGen stuff has gone in. I think really to give the community a lot of value, we need to be like querying off BinGen, which is on the our OpenCost AI sub-project. I know Oric had invested a ton here earlier. I think we still need to do like a bunch of testing here and like make recommendations like can we run this on a laptop?
Um,
What can
I did change the model, not just an FYI. We just updated that. So we went for, I think we've just aligned it with the Granite. Um,
right?
not just because it's an IBM open source one, but because the testing we're seeing, um, it's a known quantity, and we're really happy with it. So I switched it over from I think Quen, but that's the only major change in
Awesome.
there.
That's exciting. Like so then we should think about using this more. Like chat interface, UI, auto uh right sizer or something.
Yeah, I mean we defaulted to a like a pretty hefty model, and I haven't tested down vertically, like going from like a 300 billion to a 50 billion to a millions, hundreds of
Right.
millions. This seemed like a pretty happy medium. I can't remember if I set it up with options, like choice around what you baked in. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I will say, and this is just a side note, the whole local model scene at the moment is getting really interesting. Really, really interesting. I'm quite enjoying poking around on there at the moment. So I encourage anybody
Great.
who's interested, this is a good place to do it because it's becoming more and more viable.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity to learn that. And
It's
yeah,
honestly also it's a lot of fun. Like I don't have enough RAM locally to do for this sort of stuff, but and frankly no one does. But there's just so much content there around that newer spectrum. Because like you think about it in terms of frontier model work, that's cool for all the stuff that they're doing, but you just don't need it.
and I guess I would make the offer here to the maintainers have access to this cluster, but we can grant access for like a temporary period to, members of the community that we trust to our test cluster, which has a big GPU node that we use for like, GPU costing testing. But if like someone wants to do development work on this, like right now, our big GPU node is just doing protein folding just to generate workload, right? So
Mm.
it's very easy to halt that workload. It's a $2,000 a month node, $2,500 a month node or something. It'd be very easy to halt that workload temporarily while folks play around with this. So just standing off. Any other thoughts on the AI sub project before we move on to the UI?
Probably have a ton of thoughts, but I'll save them for later.
All right, sounds good. Moving on to the UI, we'll start with reviewing a few PRs here. So our first one is contributed by Kush here to modernize the UI, unified styling system. Great. It improves our Lighthouse score. That's awesome. Um, yeah, and then perhaps we look at it here. Let's play around with it live a little bit. Kush, feel free to say anything you'd want uh, folks to know about it. Otherwise, that's nice. I like the settings down there. That's nice.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because the main aim was to like upgrade the UI, not to change any functionality or existing behavior. Because I think there are many areas where we can improve for the user experience, like for uh, uh, for improving the UI, for making it more responsive for other screens. So yeah, that was the main idea. We can like of course improve it further and have guidance, make it more better, make more user friendly.
Cool. I mean, I think the high level test looks good. 1600 line PR. It looks Mostly some style changes, tweaks. You're introducing a new class here, restructuring some pages here. Call that good. Large
Specifically targeting the carbon components, basically, which are already there. So yeah.
I should. I think this looks good. Yeah, I mean, it looks. Would you characterize this as primarily stylistic tweaks?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think that looks good. A new object wrapper. CSS changes, which I mean, I can't look at this and tell if it's good. I just count on the actual like playing around with it to tell if the CSS is good. Yeah, I mean, I think this looks really good. Does anyone have any concerns, things that they want to dig down into? Otherwise, we'll ship it. Awesome. Thanks, Kush. It does feel smoother. All right, chuck that over to you. Okay, merged. All right. These next two distinct hourly bars on the homepage chart. Setting hourly granularity, collapse all 24. All right, so this fixes a specific issue. Let's confirm that it is indeed fixed. It's a lot of querying. Let's compare it to this one. Home options. Out. Usually, fortunately, I think this is just a back-end problem that prevents us from really evaluating this. Hourly. Oh, all right. Do a small here. Try and give OpenCost a shot here. Ain't bad. But it's not versus this. Try it one more time. I think this does reset the options. Hourly day. Okay, cool. That worked. I think this is good. We'll just take a quick look at the code here. Okay, fix and accumulate, build shared data. I think this looks good. Hey, awesome. It's good. People are clearly using the new UI. Oops, and it has conflicts. Okay, we will ask them to fix this. And then, all right, custom label aggregation, aggregate by. So this basically is adding label aggregation support, which is, I know, something people are always asking for. Where did they install this? Homepage cost. All right, so aggregate by label and mirror the same built-in example. How does label key? I wonder if we want to add we can ask for these to be specify labels. All right, cool. So looks good, but merge conflicts. Left comment. And then just a standing issue. Intro videos, refresh for this new OpenCost UI. Work, I know you had said people might be interested in this. Did you want that to be assigned to you, to someone else, unassigned?
Just assign it to me.
All right.
Just at least I'm keeping a track on it then.
Thank you. Great. All right. Any other stuff on the UI there for now? Cool. Yeah, it feels like we're building some momentum. So our most recent mentorship was definitely not wasted because it seems to make an impact. All right. We only have one thing to review today for the website. Kush here added Randoli, which is a huge contributor here, so shout out for that. And then fixed some coloring on the button and uploaded a static asset. Let's check out how it works. Rajith is Randoli's founder and he approved of it. So I think QRS, yep, it's in alphabetical order. Looks good. Thank you, Kush. Right. Good. We are great. I think that's awesome. Randoli does a lot for us, so it's nice to shout them out. All right. OpenCost Core. So we have a lot of PRs here. We'll get as many as we can. I've tried to rank them by people that have pinged me about it. So we'll time box it to when we're all decided we reviewed enough code. We're currently experimenting with image signing. I haven't actually checked in on this. Maybe we can check in on this live. We're signing it using cosign in a workflow. Where would this be? Debug sign predicate, I think. Yeah. No, it's just a debug. Where is it in SBON? No. Where are we signing? Supply chain security. Did we stop signing?
Is it in the build and publish release?
Thank you. Cool. Sign image. So it looks like it's getting signed, which is great. So this is going into the public registry. So what's our next step here? Like, okay, we're pushing signed images. Do we like set the public key or something in the Helm chart so that it only uses signed images? Do we know? Anyone wants to poke around that? That'd be cool. Cool thing to look into. Because yeah, it seems to be working great. So yeah, we just need to figure out how the SIG store stuff integrates with Helm charts to secure that. Take that. Cool. All right, let's look at some PRs. All right, our first one here is Rusha here asked us to look at this. Parse region dynamically from availability zone. Okay, let's check out this code. Thomas. All right. So it looks like Thomas has unanswered questions here. Let's see if any changes were pushed since Thomas's review. They were not. All right. So we're gonna, Thomas, did you want to say anything? Sorry, I see you come up.
No, just wanted to point that out.
You have outstanding review. Um, oh, thank you for reviewing this, by the way. That is amazing. Um, extremely helpful because as you can see, we're trying to keep it under 40 open PRs, but it's just sort of ballooned, which I think is a good thing. Like more folks are getting involved, but it's ballooned to over 110 here. Comment. All right, our next one is another one from Rusha here. And here fixes the issue. Exercises. All right. So it looks like there's some back and forth. Address the feedback. Great. Sean took a pass. I took a pass. All right. So this is external allocations. I remove the insert. So external allocations were the predecessor to cloud costs. But I think that they missed the point here. And would love to see everything related to external allocations. So I think there's good. There's external allocations are confusing, I think, even so. Great. I'm loving the community involvement. Multiple folks from the community are getting involved there. Love to see it. I am just actually going to quickly reply to them in Slack here. Both. All right. Cool. Our next one here. Oh, this is just for visibility. Christian already reviewed and approved this, and I think Warren reviewed it too. We've been getting security vulnerability reports on some stuff in OpenCost, and we did have GitHub issue a CVE on it. The takeaway is that there are some write endpoints basically that are unauthenticated, right? OpenCost doesn't really have any authentication. So what this fix basically does is we added a middleware that basically shuts the endpoint down unless you provided a token. Where's our right? So if the admin token is unset, we shut the endpoint down with a 503 and we basically require it. I'll be honest, I am on the fence whether this is an actual security vulnerability because this is sort of an internal piece of software, and I really doubt that like OpenCost has never really gotten into the authentication space, which may change, frankly, soon enough. But you know what? Like if people are concerned about it, hopefully this won't break many folks, and if it does, set an admin key and put it in an authorization header. So I just want to call that out and raise awareness there. A lot of those endpoints are legacy anyway. All right, 3906, York, I believe this is yours. So York has specifically requested this be discussed. York, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words here while we get oriented.
Yeah, so basically, I'm from Nutanix, so like we are basically the private cloud on-prem setup. So we deploy OpenCost with our own set of defaults. So our own defaults doesn't like on-prem doesn't, at least for us, like the LB cost is like kind of meaningless, so we never set it. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing that log spam a lot, like every minute. So yeah, this attempt is to kind of close down that log spam and as well as this cluster this cluster name, it's basically it's like every 5 minutes you'll see warning, cannot find this name label, blah 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 for this cluster info matrix. So
Okay.
look at other cloud provider, they all has like a series of fallbacks, which Warwick pointed out in the PR. So yeah, it's basically like following that sort of following other cloud providers logic. Basically, we fall back to cluster ID. If that's still nothing, then we fall back to like a um dummy string. Yeah, so something like that. But yeah, I think the cluster ID will probably be there because it's just the Kubernetes cluster and the the Kubernetes cluster ID. Yeah.
I
So
think that makes good sense. This method seems very straightforward, just improved
yeah,
error
parsing
handling,
yeah.
or defaulting to zero rather than blowing up on an error, I guess. I think that makes sense. Push price. Yeah, and then so you're defaulting to the zero on forwarding rules, which frequent. Okay, so you're just doing this heavily in load balancer. I think this is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Um,
this three matrix specifically, and then this fallback, like, because I think Warwick pointed out there's some legacy like situation we have.
right.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, like, would you be willing to consider a deduped log here? So, like, you would print for up to 5 times, like, hey, we actually got an error here. We're defaulting it to zero, just to like notify users. Would you be open to something like that?
Oh,
And
I mean, I feel like I definitely saw that kind of like log message elsewhere, like somewhere else. I just don't know like where, like whether that's approach or yeah. I mean, I think I get you. Like basically log this one time, and then the second time, like
right.
maybe five more time, and then it will be like suppressed.
So
Um.
we have like log deduped info F or something like that, and then it
Oh,
would
okay.
be. And if you search for that, I'm sure it'll put you in the neighborhood. But it's like, um, could not find pricing for XYZ in load balancer defaulting to zero or something like that. Would you be okay with like an info level log at boot that then stops after it prints a few times?
I mean that's fine. It's just I guess that like this needs to be on top of this existing change, I guess. Or
Yes.
okay.
Or
So
yeah, I mean it would be like I'm saying keep it this way. Like keep
yeah.
right, fix your core use case, which is you want a zero coming out for invalid
Uh,
prices. I'm just
uh,
like trying to keep an eye towards backwards compatibility. Or in the case, like I'm trying to, empathize with the user that legitimately is, wants load balancer prices, but misconfigured something and it's a legitimate error. Right. So I'm just like trying for us to leave them some
oh,
breadcrumb,
okay.
right?
Hmm.
Um, So if you would be willing to like print one log at the start or something like that, because that's what happens now, right? Is it fails safe, right? And I agree it's gone too far, right? But like, the software can't tell whether it's a misconfiguration or like your use case, it just doesn't
Yeah.
apply. Alternatively, York, like you could wrap this whole thing in an environment variable, right? And it could be like deactivate load balancer pricing or something.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very minor thing. Like if you don't feel like that's the right approach, like feel free to push back here.
Um, I don't know. I feel like it like my scenario is basically I don't set it at all. So, so that's why I think, basically, Yes, or this is specifically handling talking about the legacy handling of the LB price thing, like with this, this first five forward rule thing.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just you get what you're after here, which is transparently failing and to a zero, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas there may be some user that has first five forwarding rules cost or something set, but some other misconfiguration somewhere that's making it
Oh,
fail.
okay.
You're going to be like, I have no idea, uh, and again, is this, I'm not intimately familiar with this code. Like, is that even a plausible thing? Or you think
Yeah,
that
because
there's
I feel like if they really set it, if we really set it, like it's gonna like you're not gonna even see the error, Like if they really set it,
okay. And I guess this is
or
only for the custom provider. All right, so I think we can approve this. Legacy
I left
base.
one comment here too. I'm good to approve too, but just left one comment about backwards compatibility.
yeah.
Custom provider. So are we changing? Oh, you're changing from custom cluster.
Which I think for the most part should be fine. We should probably just
I
call it
think
out in the release notes. Yeah.
yeah, we should call it out because I think it used to be just it will just log a error warning message and doesn't proceed, and now it will
Mm.
just has like this default thing, and then defaulting to the cluster ID. I think yeah, I mean if it's deployed on Kubernetes, it will get the ID. So I would say most cases it will not even run into that hard-coded string. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
All right. We'll make a note to add this to the release notes. Would that satisfy you, Thomas?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
Awesome. Thanks for the looking. All right, cool. We will approve this to work, and then we'll toss it in the queue. And I'll make a note here.
And the general question, like for any merge change, like you guys will pick and choose what to release in which release, or it's kind of like automatic, like
So the release is just cut on the develop branch. So when we decide to cut a release, which is usually at the discretion of Christian here, it will just contain everything that was merged.
okay, so you don't
Still
pick and
then
choose.
all
Okay,
history.
okay, I see. Gotcha.
So
I'll
this
just
will go
follow.
out in the next release. He did just
Okay.
cut a 1.20.4 recently, so my advice would be we would wait a few weeks unless we listen to the users, right? If you are like, we need this, we need a release, like for our use case, like I'm sure we could accelerate it.
I mean, it's
But
not. I won't say this is like burning urgent. So yeah,
cool.
but I'll reach out. Yeah.
Great. Cool. Our next one is an AI inference costing change. So this is submitted by Seema, who is an IBMer, adding inference costing here. This is very specific to the inference costing stuff. A lot of it is updating of comments and things like that. The main thing here is, and I think I did take a pass at it. She did a draft of the pilot reviews. Let me get some context here. Yeah, so generally looks good. Pilot feedback. All right, so I mean, I've taken a pass over this. For those of us who aren't familiar, inference costing provides two basic methodologies here. We have allocation based costing, which follows the traditional open cost allocation methodology, which is the max of request and usage. There's another mode, which is sort of the more optimization or tuning mode, I guess you could say, where we just allocate costs based off of usage and don't basically ignore reservations, right? And that meets Red Hat and IBM Research's use case here for their LLMD work. So a lot of it is basically, scaling. So right now, our GPU support, and again, this is pre-cube model. Our GPU support just like looks at the number of reserved GPUs, like with the com.nvidia.com/GPUs requested or whatever, and just assumes that that is the hourly cost. Here, if we have allocation metrics for GPU usage, it scales it. I think it looks pretty safe. She hit all the Copilot stuff. Does anyone have any concerns about it? Cool. Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff here. We have a talk submitted at KubeCon about this. And expect a lot more here in the coming months as AI seems to continually get more expensive. All right, cool. And if any of these get kicked out of the queue, I'll just make sure they. Who knew the time? All right, let's keep going. So here's a good one from Tushar, a serial contributor. So I love this one because this fixes a test flake on the integration tests. And the problem was, we'll look at the tests after, we're sanitizing or this, fixes NANDs. Basically, this is a continual problem that we have experienced here. It basically reflects into the value and calls sanitize, drills it down to float. I think this looks good. I think he's fixing specific problems here. Looks well tested. Anything that makes tests less flaky is a-okay in my book. Does anyone have any concerns or things they want to suggest? Looks like the Copilot feedback is what response. Pass my value.
I like anything that makes a test work, mate. That's a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, Tushar is definitely not afraid of tackling the big stuff. All right, great. It's in the queue. And then our last one that I had on our docket today. So this is brand new. This, we had looked at his PR a while ago. It's actually been significantly rewritten here. So this is an end user, and it makes it tier aware and manage accurate disk tier, fallback behaviors. We had a lot of back and forth on his prior PR. And I think that is okay. I'm gonna ask him like, are you concerned about these going out of date? Date stale. Disk tier, okay, pulling the disk tier out of regexes. I think that's fine. Manage disk. Manage disk meter, they're pulling out sub matches, keying off of that, resolving disk names. I mean, I think this looks great. Disk tiers test. Provider, disk tier hourly. I think this looks good. Discuss fallbacks. Discuss fallbacks. Sure. Prices. This user storage class. I think that I'm gonna ask him if he's running it in their cluster testing. I'm not gonna accept this today unless anyone's like, yeah, but this on clusters, we do not have C engine cluster to play. All right. I went left. Our last one, this one is already merged. We've just been talking about this one over the last few weeks, and I just wanted to draw folks' attention to it. If anyone is interested in where we're going with like deep AI inference cost measurement, it's linked here. Feel free to drill. You know, it links to our proposal and everything like that. So, you know, this is a joint project we're doing with LLMD, right? It's seems that, you know, Kubernetes has managed to establish itself as the platform of choice for AI workloads. LLMD is positioning itself to be the front runner for self-hosted, you know, on-prem air-gapped models, what have you. So there's some back and forth here where we're trying to like establish thought leadership with LLMD on what cost metrics should a model hosting, you know, router emit so that OpenCost can join those metrics with its GPU metrics, with its, you know, general overhead metrics, right? CPU and other things to give you that per token idle, help you make optimization decisions. There's a lot here. You know, we're almost out of time. It's merged. It's a living thing, right? Like, you know, Seem and I are actively iterating on it. We would love feedback from the community as we try and position ourselves, you know, and to be thought leaders here before something that you have to pay for. All right. Sorry, this is not a big side road. Any other open cost core stuff to discuss?
I think
Doesn't make it
I had one open PR, but yeah, we can of course take it next meeting if time allows.
Sure, Bush. Let's see about that.
It's a small PR, small change.
Great. We love small teams.
Yeah.
All right. Close response body and validate HTTP status code. Sounds uncontroversial. All right. We never close the response body clearly inside the Azure provider. Where do we initiate the response? We do obtain the response here. And then also check
Yeah.
for high range status code.
Both cannot be true,
Are
specifically.
you
So
worried
yeah.
about being blown up on a redirect? I guess it doesn't matter.
Of course, this the code will
Yeah,
never went into this if condition because it will never be true.
I think it's good. Awesome. Thank you. Great. Merged. It's in the queue. Cool. All right. Thank you once again. All right. Our last PR today is a complimentary PR to this AI inference stuff we looked at. Shout out to Ashan, who continues to maintain our Helm chart for us.
Thank you, Ashan.
Watching this. What's that?
I said thank you, Ashan.
Oh, yeah.
Sending good
Watching this,
vibes.
we appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate it. Let's see. So looks like, again, this is a complementary PR to the one that was merged. This off by default. I think that's good. It's pre-wired for LLMD. I think that's great. 2-minute collection interval. I think these are all reasonable defaults. Yeah, we need to change this. Point at a specific. That's a mutable tag. Other than that, she bumped the chart version. No. Also, we need Herald chart version bump. Okay, great. Anyone see anything else? Otherwise, feedback. Cool. Yeah, just our typical call out here, Helm chart sighting. I am not 100% sure of what we do now that we're signing our container images. It feels like integrating it into the Helm chart and saying, here's the image, here's the signature, and then, signing the Helm chart itself, and then folks can import that key, from a trusted source. That's to do. I know some folks have been considering looking into this work again. Feel free to discharge this one. I know you've pulled a lot of tickets here. But if you want to keep I'm happy to keep this in there if you're looking at
I
it.
mean, it's just part of the whole life cycle security, supply chain stuff. So I continue to work on it when I have spare milliseconds in my life limit.
Gotcha. All right. You continue to have it. Someone from the community might beat you, but I'm sure you wouldn't be sad to see that happen.
No, I would not be sad at all.
We'll end with OpenCost plugins. We fixed the OpenAI plugin. It just needs to be tested. Again, we have some folks submitting plugins. We cannot accept these without them being tested, right, against actual parties, like third-party APIs. The problem is that we don't have access to Cloud AMQP, CoralLogix, right? So, we don't use these at work, and some of these have free tiers, some don't. So, again, it's just a general community thing. If you happen to be using one of these technologies and you want to see these costs at OpenCost, let us know it works. Especially if you're, a contributor, that means a lot and it can help us move forward. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. We'll get a few minutes back here. It looks like, does anyone else have anything at all they'd like to raise before we hang it up for a few weeks?
I have some general question around OpenCost, the OpenCost 8 UI. Yeah, if nothing else.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's just we have a tech. I mean, on our side, so we kind of pin the OpenCost UI into 1.119 because there was I think a breaking change in 1.120. Like, 'cause I think you guys switched the front end build system for UI.
Yes.
And then so I think our use case is the OpenCost UI is hosted at a subpath that is not root. So I think we before 1.120, I think that requires us to custom build the OpenCost UI image. So I just yeah, I mean we have automation, so I just did a test drive on running the 1.120. I forgot the patch number, but 1.120 something on our cluster, and that the UI is broken. I mean, I didn't look further, but I just want to see whether you guys experience something like this and maybe have some quick gotchas around it. Otherwise, I can look deeper and gather all the context so you guys can have better idea.
Yeah, so you're not the only person that's had this problem, I would say. Let's try and find one that's where is the base path? All right. So, and this may not have been released, but I think Christian has released this in the last 2 weeks since we merged it. So, running OpenCost under a base path, would you say that this issue is similar to yours?
Okay, yeah, I mean that looks, yeah, I mean it could be, it could, it seems related, the yeah, the UiPath thing. Yeah.
So I would
Oh,
look into this. I'll link this, York, into the notes for you to look at to see if it's fixed.
uh-huh.
I think that Christian has released more
Sure.
sooner
Okay,
than so
okay.
so if this doesn't like if flipping this variable doesn't work, like it's worth double checking that and I could quick check his release notes here. Um it's worth checking
Okay.
uh
Okay.
so this was released on June 25th at 3:53 and this PR was merged at 10:13. So theoretically 1.120.4 should have this change.
Great.
And
Yeah, I'll double check.
if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, we'd love to hear from you, okay?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'll test it and I'll reach out if I'm still facing the same. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have one question, Alex. Uh,
Great.
so what are the like biggest architectural areas we are like looking forward in like more contributing further, specifically in the 3 to 4 month cycle? Like I want to align my
Yeah,
project and
sure. So like you're asking about like mentorship projects that are floating around in our heads, basically.
not basically mentorship, but yeah, in overall, OpenCost is like focusing on which idea specifically more in these timelines.
So the big idea I would say is um auth N and auth Z, right? Is that we have some large users potentially that are interested in adopting OpenCost, but they
Okay.
want the ability to create things like a team in OpenCost where it's like, I can only see things in my namespace. It logs in, it knows I'm Alex, and I am not allowed to see what's in the Kush namespace, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So I'd point you at this PR. This was our spring mentee, Vishy. He did a
Yeah.
great job. He just ran out of time here. Um, and this is where we are like looking for folks to take up the mantle here. And there's a complimentary OpenCost PR as well, where it's the UI lets you build teams out. We don't do authorization uh, or authentication. That gets outsourced to an OIDC provider. The OIDC provider comes back with a list of entitlements, and then we map that to like a filter basically of stuff you're allowed to see. So like this is the pointy end of the spear, Kush, I would
Okay.
say.
So
And
like more visibility in the logs areas, which I'm currently not much into.
it's it's so in the UI it's basically like adding a whole new feature set. Right now, OpenCost is single tenant. It has
Yeah.
no idea who you are as a user. It lets you see
Yeah.
everything. Everyone's an admin. This
Okay.
makes it basically not be to
So basically
where
adding the authentication operation. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would point you at this PR, if you're interested in getting involved,
Yeah.
in full disclosure, right? Like it's probably, and we knew Vishy would never get done with this. It frankly probably is worth a whole nother mentorship alone on this because obviously authentication authorization is not something you want to get wrong, right?
Yeah.
So, this is the big strategic thing here. So that way, we can enable more use cases of OpenCost.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah. No.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Great questions at the end. And, thanks everyone here for the contributions and everyone who attended. Yeah, it again feels like we're building momentum, right? It's amazing to have 112 pending PRs from a bunch of different folks. And we've got really exciting things to come. So our next meeting is in 2 weeks at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, you know, 6 hours sooner than this one. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.